Hey everybody, this is our MRS22 Spring 2022 Midterm 1 Review Part 4, and here the first row of a stadium has 400 seats. Each subsequent row has 50 more seats than the previous one. The entire stadium has 50 rows. So the first question is, how many seats are there in the last row? Alright, so this is one of these arithmetic sequence problems. How do we know? Because we're adding by 50 every single time. So the last row, since there are a total of 50 rows altogether, our last row is A50, the 50th row. Now, in general, A of n, the formula we have, A of n is equal to the first term, the nth term is equal to the first term, plus n minus 1 times our common difference, d. So we see here our first term, A1, how many seats in the first row? 400. And n is going to be 50 because that's the 50th row. Now, how many seats are there more? Well, in this case, if the first row has 400, the next row has 50 more seats, so that would be 450. And next set of seats has 500. Now, you can add them all up if you want to. You'd have to show all the work, though. That's the thing. You just can't give me a number and say, I just used my calculator. You'd have to definitely write down 400 plus 450 plus 500 plus 550 and list every single one of the rows and then add them all together. Or we recognize our common difference is going to be 50 and use our formula. So A50 is equal to 400 plus 50 minus 1 times 50. All right, so that's the same thing as 400 plus 49 times 50. Now, you'll write this down, but you can use a calculator. So here we go. We're going to do 400. So for the last problem here, let me clear this. 400 plus 50 minus 1, close parentheses, oops, 50 minus 1, not 5 minus 1, sorry about that, minus 1 times 50. And so this total amount will be 2,850 seats in the last row. So 2,850 seats. So that's going to be part A. A is 2,850 seats in the last row. Now for part B, the sum in this case. Again, you want to write down 400 plus, in this case 400 plus, that shouldn't really be plus because really it's a sequence, so it'd be comma. So you're just going to do, comma, 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 and just show in this case that you are adding by 50 every single time, plus 50, plus 50, plus 50. So that'll be a figure out how many seats are. But we can add, in this case, the 400 plus 450 plus 500 all the way to 2,850, or use our formula in this situation. Our formula is the sum of the n number of sum n rows would be equal to, in this case, the number of rows here, n, times a1, the first number, plus a sub n, the last number, all over 2. And so S of 50, because there are 50 rows here, so we have 50, because n is 50, still the same thing. A1 is 400, plus, we found our answer to be 2,850. That's how many are seats in the last row, all over 2. And again, we'll use a calculator. So, we'll just type this in the calculator, right? So we type in 50, parenthesis, 400, plus 2,850, close parenthesis, all divided by 2. And that gives us 81,250 seats. Okay, so yeah. And this is all the work we need. 81,250 seats in the stadium. Yeah, I like having the sentence here to describe what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. That definitely would be helpful to have that. So definitely going to box your answer here for the first one, part A, and box your answer here for the second one for part B. Now I'll make this full page for you guys. So yeah, you could make the list of all of them. You have to show all of the work there. So, and then what you did, you know, plus 50 for the next one, plus 50 for the next one for part A, plus 50 all the way to list out the 50th row. And then you would have to show the sum of 400 plus 450 plus 500 and all the way to 2,850, or write it all down, or use our formula, which is way easier, in this case. N times A1 plus A sub n, which is the first number and the last number add together, times the number of numbers, all divided by 2. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope this was helpful, and definitely hope this is going to be something you do. Makes things much faster, and you get things done a lot quicker. All right, and it's all the credit you're going to get because you're using formulas that we have talked about in class. All right, everybody, and I'm going to box this formula here so you separate from everything else. So you can see here, that's the formula for the nth term of an arithmetic sequence. Everybody, thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care.